Whatever happens around you, don't take it personally. Nothing other people do is because of you. It is because of themselves. Even when a situation seems so personal, it has nothing to do with you. What they say, what they do, and the opinions they give are projections of their own internal thoughts. Everyone has their own reality. When we take something personally, we make the assumption that they know what is in our reality, and we try to impose our reality onto theirs. When we don't take things personally, it gives us more power over our thoughts, feelings, and actions. When we don't take things personally, we recognize the individuality of others, and we can accept that other people are different from us. We have little control over how others view us and relate to us. We have more control over how we view ourselves in the situation, and how we respond to it. The truth is that we tend to make assumptions and judgments about other people without knowing the full story. And more often than not, what we assume about a person is wrong. Hello guys. In a world filled with heroes and villains, there exists one figure whose legend transcends generations. We are talking about Superman. Superman is an imaginary cartoon character that appears in comic books published by DC Comics. He was created by writer Jerry Siegel and artist Joe Shuster. Both of them were then high school students. Superman first appeared in 1933. Superman's history is quite interesting. It is believed that he was born on an imaginary planet, Krypton. His scientist father Jor-El rocketed him to Earth when he was still a small baby. On Earth, he was adopted by a Kansas farmer and his wife and raised as Clark Kent. Krypton was destroyed seconds after Superman was sent to Earth. We can easily recognize Superman by his blue costume, red cape and the red and yellow shield on his chest. Superman has superhuman qualities which he keeps using for the benefit of humanity. He is kind-hearted and has a strong sense of justice and fair play. These qualities were instilled in him by the farmer couple who brought him up. Superman is always looking for opportunities to perform a noble deed. Helen Keller lost her capacity to hear and see when she was just 19 months old. But she was intellectually very sharp and led almost a normal life. Helen Keller was a very sensitive person, and it pained her to see the miserable life led by the poor. Life in the countryside is simple and people are mostly contented. But Helen was saddened by the sight of the cruel struggle for mere existence that goes on in big cities. She felt embittered to think that while some chosen few were leading a comfortable life in fine houses, a large number of people were forced to lead a miserable life in dingy tenements. Why was it that even though the sun and the air are nature's gifts to all, the sun did not shine in those narrow streets and the air was foul? She yearned for the day when even the poor would have free access to nutritious food, health care, and education. Isn't it a pity that Helen Keller's dream of socioeconomic equality remains unrealized even today? Hello guys, today we are talking about a beautiful place, Kerala. Kerala lies on the Malabar coast in South India, and is also referred to as God's own country. The capital city of Kerala is Tiruvananthapuram. This part of India is culturally very rich. In ancient times, Kerala was one of the most prominent spice exporters in the world. It was famous for its pepper. Even today, it is known for its spices and scenic beauty. The backwaters of Kerala are a chain of lagoons and lakes parallel to the Arabian Sea. Houseboats and ferries cruising through the backwaters are a major tourist attraction. The Edikal caves on the Ambukuthi Mountains have ancient rock carvings believed to have been made by the early man. Kerala is also famous for its art forms. Kathakali is a popular form of dance where the characters dress up elaborately and paint their faces to tell stories through dance and facial expressions. Green paint on the face signifies nobility and black paint stands for evil. Kerala is indeed a very colorful and beautiful state with a rich heritage. Once upon a time, most of the hill slopes in India were covered with large forests full of numerous kinds of trees. As the population grew, trees were cut down for fuel or timber. That is how the wonderful forests described in our ancient poems came to be destroyed. Now in many parts of India, there are not enough trees to supply firewood. People are forced to burn cow dung which ought to be saved for agricultural purposes. The government wants a large number of trees to be planted all over the country to make good the loss. So some years ago the government started an annual festival called Van Mahotsav, or the Forest Festival. Trees are of importance not only to man but also to birds and animals. Their branches give shelter to millions of birds and the forests support the lives of wild animals of many kinds. We value trees not only for their usefulness but also for their beauty. Trees have a way of refreshing the eye and bringing peace to the mind. Perhaps that is why our ancient rishis were attracted to the forests and they, along with their disciples, chose to live in forest homes in the company of nature. Trees are our country's wealth. We must consider it our sacred duty to protect them and to look after them well. Decision-making is a very vital part of our lives. This is because what we are today is largely a result of the decisions we took in the past. Similarly, whatever happens tomorrow will be a result of the decisions we make in the present. To enhance our decision-making, we must first of all gather as much information as possible about the issue before we decide on it. We might end up in a disaster if our decisions are based on incorrect or incomplete information. If we have a set of guiding principles for our lives, decision-making becomes a lot easier. For example, if we value integrity and honesty above anything else, we will never waver. Sometimes making a quick decision is difficult, especially if the odds seem to be against us. In this case, giving ourselves a little time to decide wouldn't be a bad idea at all. Circumstances may change with time and then it may be easier to decide. Being clear about our goals can facilitate decision-making. If we know exactly where we want to be, or what we want to do shortly, we will decide to undertake actions that lead us to our goals. It was a sunny Saturday morning, and Sarah decided to spend the day at the beach. She packed her beach bag with sunscreen, a towel, and a good book. As she arrived, she could hear the sound of waves crashing against the shore. Sarah spread her towel on the warm sand and settled down to enjoy the beautiful weather. She closed her eyes and listened to the seagulls flying overhead and the laughter of children playing in the distance. After a while, Sarah decided to take a dip in the ocean. The water was refreshingly cool, and she swam out until she could feel the gentle rocking of the waves. She floated on her back, looking up at the clear blue sky above. As the day went on, Sarah built a sandcastle and collected seashells along the shore. She watched as the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. Reluctantly, she packed up her things and headed home, already looking forward to her next day at the beach. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled at the edge of a vast forest, there lived a young girl named Lily. Lily was an adventurous soul, always yearning to explore the mysteries of nature that surrounded her home. One bright summer morning, she decided to embark on a solo journey into the heart of the forest. Armed with nothing but a small backpack filled with snacks, a water bottle, and her trusted map, Lily set off into the dense foliage of the woods. The sunlight filtered through the canopy above, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor as she ventured deeper and deeper into the unknown. As the hours passed, Lily marveled at the sights and sounds of the forest. She listened intently to the chirping of birds, the rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze, and the distant babbling of a hidden stream. But as the day wore on, Lily realized that she had strayed far from the familiar paths she knew so well. Panic began to rise within her as she frantically consulted her map, only to discover that it had somehow gone missing from her backpack. With a sinking feeling in her chest, Lily realized that she was lost. Despite her fear, Lily knew that she had to stay calm and think rationally if she wanted to find her way back home. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and focused on the sounds of the forest around her. Listening carefully, Lily heard the faint trickle of water in the distance. Remembering that her village was located near a river, she followed the sound, hoping that it would lead her back to familiar territory. After what felt like hours of wandering, Lily finally emerged from the dense undergrowth and found herself standing at the edge of a swiftly flowing river. With a sense of relief washing over her, she followed the riverbank until she recognized a familiar landmark that marked the outskirts of her village. With a newfound sense of determination, Lily made her way back home, guided by the sounds of the forest and her own instincts. And though her journey had been fraught with uncertainty, she emerged from the woods with a newfound appreciation for the power of listening and the importance of staying calm in the face of adversity. From that day forward, Lily never ventured into the forest without a keen ear and a steady resolve, knowing that she could always find her way home by listening to the world around her.